Hello, 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 everyone. Let's see. Let's make sure music's going here. Hang tight 1 second. There we go. I'm just checking because for some reason it always starts out kind of quiet. Anyway, okay, let's see. We've got Donna. Hello. Hello, Donna. Husband just brought me a cookie. We've got Donna. Hi, Donna. And Joe Beth. Hello. And we've got, let's see. Oh, yeah. Who's Yalzza? Yeah, Yalzza is this illustrator I discovered. Super excited about her. This is one of her illustrations here. It's a bit out of the box of what I normally do, but it intrigued me and I really wanted to add color to it, which I started to. And then after we had stream the other day, we're like, hey, let's do this dude in watercolors. So Tyler says, hi, chat. Donna says, hi, Tyler. My name ain't chat. Let's see. Hi, Mia. Hi, Belinda. All right. Well, this is what we're going to work on tonight. A few announcements. If anybody wasn't here last time, I have added all of the Inktober drawings in the Facebook group. There is a hi, Carol, Cookie Mouth. There is a Dropbox link for all of those Inktober drawings. And then also, I finally got, so here's the link to the Facebook group. Okay, and then I finally got an Etsy shop up and going, so !Etsy if you want to check that out. And then this is just a technical side of the stream that I was just kind of excited about. So I'm sure that you all have noticed that there are times, and I've talked about it too, where I'm coloring and like, you know, a big portion of my hand, or there's something black on the screen anyway, and the video would suddenly get overexposed, and so I had to like move my hand out. Anyway, I finally figured out how to fix it. And I felt so silly because it was just a matter of switching from auto exposure to manual exposure. And from there, well, it's technical jargon, but essentially you can physically adjust your ISO and your aperture, which makes it so, look, it's not all blown out. Anyway, it was just a little something that I was excited about. Okay, the peanut butter patties are pretty tasty. We are in the full throes of cookie sales for Girl Scout cookies. We set up a little booth outside today and she sold like 15 boxes. It was really good. But anyway, needless to say, there are a fair amount of boxes of cookies around our place. So yeah. It's not totally implausible to be snagging a cookie on occasion. Anyway, all right, I need to shift this. I'm trying to make all this fit here. Okay, so like I said, what we're doing tonight is something a little bit different. This illustration is by an illustrator called Jin Kyung. I know I'm gonna butcher this. Jin Kyung Young, I believe. She is a Korean illustrator. She goes by Yalzza on Etsy. So I have !Yalzza. And this is the link directly to the page that I'm working on tonight. She's got loads of other cool stuff. I actually have a book coming that I'm really excited from her. And it is an Anna Green Gables themed book. So at some point that's going to come. It'll be a little while though because it's coming from Korea and it just takes a while for those things. But anyway, so check her out. This is what we're working on tonight. And yeah, I guess we'll get started. We're going to do watercolor. Thanks, Carol. We are using the 36, the Arteza 36 Watercolor Premium. They're the half pans. Came with this handy little water brush, so we're just going to use this one. That's what I used for this entire thing here. My goal today was I wanted to do the rest of this background, but I just didn't get around to it. And by today, I mean before stream. My hope was all we would have had left to do was the fella, but took the kids to school, spent 3 hours editing a review video, and then had to run a few errands. Then we came home and we had lunch, and anyway, and then we did anyway, the day was just gone. So I did not get to the rest of that background, so I'll do that on my own later. But we have this fella all ready to be with some color added to him. I know what colors I want to do for his pants and his shirt and his shoes and all of that. So that is what we're going to do. So I also added, if you type !watercolor, that is going to give you the link to these watercolors, as well as I have them in the description below, including the UK link for it. Sorry, I swear I only have one cookie. I forgot how tasty the peanut butter patties were. Hi, Abby! 1 second, get a drink of water. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but with like a crunchy wafer inside. I may have found my new addiction, chat. Anyway, one of the cool things that I like about this is that it comes with a watercolor paper swatch in the set. And so you've got, they're all labeled, and the little half pans clip into place. Somebody mentioned, I haven't done it yet, I should mark with a permanent marker the name of it on the back of the half pan in case it gets out of order. But I do like that they click into place. I don't know if you can see here. I can do this without breaking a nail here. But anyway, the idea is, I can pick it up. Give me a sec. I blame the cookie. No, they would not get the same effect, Carol, because the way that it works with the watercolor pencils is that you color down pencil first, and then you add water to that. So these are the kind of half pancakes, and so what's going to happen is we're going to get these wet. Now, let me preface this with saying there are infinitely more artists out there that are better at watercolors than me. So what I'm doing tonight is what works for me. It may end up being technically flawed. I mean, I've never actually looked up, here's how you're supposed to do watercolors, but this is what works for me. And I mean, I like my results, so I think, all right, this seems to work okay. But we're going to be using the water brush and this. You could definitely try it with the watercolors, but as far as layering and mixing, it's not going to lay quite the same. You're not going to get the same effect. But anyway, so you saw how that popped out. Then this just goes right in here. And then you just give a little push and it clicks into place. And I've actually dropped this case like once or twice and they're all staying put. And it's metal as well. And so you've got all your palettes here, which you can reactivate with water. Because in fact, if you look, none of these colors are like a super light brown or anything. Nothing that, because for me, when I'm doing skin tone, I like to use the color that I have. I don't mix probably as much as I do. So I, stared at this palette for a while. 1 second, I need to turn down the music on my end. I feel like I'm talking too loud. I don't hear what you guys hear. I hear a different level of music, so. But anyway, so I definitely had to fiddle with it a little bit to get the skin tone color that I wanted. Thankfully, because she is supposed to be Korean, her skin is supposed to be a little bit darker, which will be the case for him as well. So, what I decided I wanted to do, yeah, no worries, Carol. What I want to do for his outfit here, and if you go to Google and you type in male Korean hanbok, and hanbok is spelled Hanbok. It's a traditional garb that is worn for weddings, big events. One of the other things is when infants in Korea turn 1 year old, the 1 year birthday is a pretty big deal. And so they have infant size hanboks as well. And in fact, I think I've mentioned it before, and I don't know how many of you know this about me, but my husband is Korean. And so I wanted to bring in a little bit of the culture for my kids. So at least if when they get older, they wanted to explore more of their Korean heritage, they could look back and see that, it wasn't completely devoid of Korean heritage living in the US. They've got this box of keepsakes that has their hanbok, little things from Korea that we have. Some Korean friends have sent us some things. So anyway, that's kind of, I'm sure that there's a lot more to it also, but I'm probably just not aware of all of it. But anyway, if you look up Google, you can see you'll see that a lot of these are very brightly colored. So for the women's tend to be a bit more, like there are some pink hanboks for men, but if you look at them overall, the men's hanboks tend to be a tad bit more muted than the girls do. So what we're going to do is, because what looks like is supposed to be their wedding day, what we're going to do is we are going to do a matching vest, just the vest, not the shirt, in the light blue for him. And then he's going to have navy blue pants. He'll have the white socks. He'll have navy shoes. And he's going to have a white shirt. And then, you know, there's the belt and the embellishments and stuff. But that's the basic color palette that we are going to use with him. Okay. So I'm going to put that there where I can see it. I apologize if you heard the crunch of that cookie. I just couldn't help it. It's gone now. There'll be no more cookie. No more cookie interruptions. I will behave the rest of the stream. I can resist the cookies. Maybe. All right, so let's see. What do I want to start with him? Now, I guess actually, if anybody has any questions about paper as well. So the paper that I am using, let's see if I can find, oh, that's sticker paper. This is actually paper that I got from Hobby Lobby when they were having just this like epic sale. And it was really inexpensive. Here it is. Okay, so I printed this from my computer. So the paper that we're using today is ultra white smooth cardstock, and it is 65 pounds. So you could definitely get something heavier, and it would hold. Okay, I'm gonna get a cookie. Sounds good, Kimmy. So it's only 65 pounds, so it's not that heavy in terms of paper that you would use for watercolor. So you can definitely see, like you can see a little bit of curling and crimping. I don't know if you can see it from the side. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see it on the back with the shadow. You can see it's definitely not the best watercolor paper, but it's what I had on hand, and I colored this one on a whim one night. So, but it held up pretty good. Once it started to dry, it flattened a little bit. My initial instinct when it was still slightly damp is I was going to put a heavy book on it in hopes of flattening it. My mistake was, though, this was still pretty wrinkly. And because it hadn't kind of flattened on its own, I had put the book on it and it immediately like started to crease it. And I was like, oh no! So I took it off and I flattened it, and I think I salvaged it pretty good. But you can definitely see on the back that the paper is not the same that it was. That being said, it's not pilling. It's holding up. It's kind of flat-ish. So it works. It works for what it is. So let's zoom in. Let's take a look at what I've done for her dress so far. Let's get this in focus. My autofocus still doesn't want to work. Oh, but look at this. This is so much nicer. Look, it's not getting blown out. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I fixed that. And now adjusting my light is as simple as just adjusting my exposure manually. So look at that. I've just clicked it through and it's so bright. I'm so happy. Sorry, I know it seems like a silly thing to get upset about, but every time I see it over here and I see the light get blown out because my hand is there for whatever reason, like I cringe because it's not good quality video, and so it's always bothered me. And so finally, it like 10 minutes before I was supposed to go live, I was just like, this is driving me crazy. I'll be a couple minutes late. I have to figure this out. So I did a quick Google, and then I felt so silly when I looked at it and it was like, oh my gosh, it's as simple as switching from manual exposure to or from auto to manual. Anyway, I felt awfully silly. I have a glass on top of my desk. I place my watercolor papers under the glass for a few days and they come out completely flat. Oh, nice. Okay. I love lavender and the blue on her top. Yeah, it worked out well. I was trying to, you know, I try to apply the same principles that I use for coloring with the pencils as I do with the watercolors. Quick question. Can anybody hear the music? I see the bars popping up that lets me know that there is some audio going through, but I just don't know how loud it actually is. So let's see. Let's actually, no, I guess that's as good as we're going to get. Well, we could get closer, but get nice and in focus. So because it's watercolor, it's not going to be as crisp as it was. So what I did is, you know, we've got kind of a darker magenta, and we've got the red to match the skirt. Barely music. Okay, thank you. There's a fine line between overwhelming and not, and I feel like, there we go. That's probably a little bit better. I also don't want to be competing with it. So if you guys ever hear me and it sounds like I'm competing with the music, let me know. It's supposed to be subtle, but not so subtle that you can't hear it. Anyways, so we did her dress in this kind of, you know, red, blue theme. And then her little embellishments, like her flowers, and right here, and in her hair, I used gel pen. Really? Then it's been too quiet, because I have music every time. I have music every time. Let's see. I want to just check something real quick. See if there's any filters on here. Let's see. Let's see if that's a little better. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I definitely want you to say something just in case, because like I said, I can't hear what you guys hear. I hear what's coming through my desktop, but it's adjusted manually through the mixer, the sound mixer on what I do here. Okay, all right, we're good then. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive on in now. All right, so I'm gonna use this water brush. I've got it filled up pretty good. For this particular one, this is the Arteza one. Move that out of the way. It's easily refillable. Okay, you twist the top off and you just fill in your water there, all right? There we go. All right, now you can do a couple of things. For me, when I am painting with this, you can grab an old cloth. Just for the sake of ease tonight, I grabbed a paper towel, and I usually hold on to this for a while. You know, I fold it over or unfold it and refold it. But the idea is you have some place to kind of clean the paint off your brush, and I just generally keep that off to the side. Yeah, see, I'd only had the Pentel water brushes before, and then this one came with the paint, and I was very pleased with it. So generally what I do, when it is, like, I just filled this completely for the stream, and so you generally don't have to squeeze too much. I mean, this is, I don't know if you can see on here, on my finger, it's pretty wet on its own without having to squeeze. Later, once you use more, you may have to apply a little bit of pressure to the tube to get enough water down to the tip of it, but otherwise, it's pretty good. And you can always check how much water it is by kind of, you know, rubbing it on the paper towel a little bit just to see how much comes up, or if maybe it's a little too wet, you can dab it on there. Ariane says, hi Emily, hi people. I was on Twitter watching videos of the flood in my city. It's raining badly here. There's a flood going on? I have a set of 6. Yeah, I think I need to get more. Where are you at, Ariane? You don't have to say exactly which city if you don't want to, but which country is that happening in? Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom on in. I am going to try and say what colors I'm using as well, because I do have the names because of this handy little swatch here. Now, here is my question. Would you rather I zoom in close so you can see the painting, or do you want to also see the mixing? Because I feel like this far out, you're not getting much detail on his vest. Had an earthquake this afternoon? Yes, I heard about that. That was in Turkey. You're in Brazil? Oh, gotcha. The earthquake was in Turkey, wasn't it, Mia? A little notification popped up on my phone before stream. In Belo Horizonte. Okay. Dang. All right. Let's go ahead and get started on his vest. Now I'm looking to see if I've got any leftover blue. Ooh, you know what I could do? So that you can see the color mixing and... Oh, Canada. Oh, there. Canada had an earthquake. Oh, gosh. Why not focus the second camera on your palette? So yeah, see, that's what I was just doing. Great minds think alike, Laura. There we go. Now this one doesn't zoom by any means, but because it's just your standard webcam. But at the very least, you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Let's get that. Position that there. Let's turn this a little bit there. There we go. Maybe, oh, I see. It would need to go more this way. There we go. It's on the keyboard a bit, so if I say something funny in chat, it's because I've squished it. quiet song. There we go. That one's nice and loud. Okay, all right. So Avedon South, all right, then. So there was a 3.8 and a 3 in Tennessee where my son lives a couple of days ago. It's the worst rain since they started measuring it 106 years ago. Dang. Biggest quake I ever experienced was 6.4 in California. I know I've experienced earthquakes before, but I don't recall too much of them because I was younger. And in Oregon, and there's not too many earthquakes there, thankfully. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna start with this light blue here, which is our cerulean blue. So on this chart, they do have names and codes. So I'll go ahead, for those watching back, I am probably not going to put the colors in the description for this one because it's going to be hard for me to remember, but I will announce it on stream as I'm choosing the colors, because it's easy enough with pencils because I can set the pencils aside and write it all down after stream. But I'm not gonna, I mean, let's be honest, I'm not gonna be able to keep track. I'd spend half chat writing them down. So I will just announce what I'm using with the code so that if you are following along, you can use it from there. All right, so we are gonna start with Cerulean Blue A381. And if I forget to mention it, or if anybody else is curious, what it is that I'm using, just ask me and I'll let you know, because it's very possible that I forgot. All right, let's see. And now, hang on one second. Get a little bit of water here. So I think I want to make room for my blue. And that's the nice thing, is you can just take a little bit of water and then clean it right off. I actually find that this metal palette is much easier to clean than the plastic ones. Okay. So that's going to open up this palette here for us to work on his shirt. I was thinking I might reuse some of these colors, but looking at them now, they're just kind of a mess of whatever I did last time. Okay. You know what? I have mine too. 1 second. Sorry, paintbrush was in my mouth. That's why it was making a funny noise. I'm going to make this a little bit larger. Hang on 1 second. 1 second. There we go. Okay. There we go. And then I'll keep what I'm painting off to the left here, because we're just doing small sections, and at least this way you can maybe see it a little bit better. Okay. So I've got my main color here. I want to water it down because, like with pencils, sometimes it's better to go lighter, but you also want to have enough paint here because once this starts to dry, to be able to work with it more, you want it to stay as wet as possible. Okay? So like I said, for his main part of the vest, not the sash, not the middle part, we are going to be trying to get it similar to this color here. Okay? My paper's already curled a little bit, so we'll see how this works out. And like I said, I am by no means an expert in watercolor. This is just essentially what works for me. And for anybody coming in, we are using the Arteza 36 half pan watercolors. And if I don't look at chat for a second, it's because I can't stop as much with as I do with pencils, because if I'm working on a section, I like to get it all down while it's wet. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna add a bit more. Clean the brush a little bit so that I can then try and blend it in with the lighter layer. I clean the brush because if there's still more blue, I'm just going to be adding more blue and not necessarily thinning out the little bit of blue that I have on there. Okay. Same on the other side. Like I said, there's no hard and fast rule that I use to do this, so there's a good chance that I may not get, you know, them looking exactly the same. Not to mention because it's been a couple days since I painted this, but ideally I could get them fairly similar. All right, now let's see, what would I have used next? Let's use a little bit of Deep Ocean Blue, which is A394, and that is the color that's right next to it here. At least it should be. Let's see. Actually, let me count, make sure that I used the right one. I may have just used, okay, so Fern Green is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is turquoise. Oh, you know what? I gave you the wrong one. We were actually using Deep Ocean Blue. I should have been using this one, Cerulean Blue. So let's actually use Phthalo Blue now, which is the 4th one in. Because see, I don't have these written on here, so I'm going based off their position. So this one, we're actually going to use Phthalo Blue, which is A380. Thanks, Donna. So I'm just squeezing on the brush just a little bit because I want to get out a couple extra drops. Okay, get some paint there. Gonna add a bit more water here. See, now that's pretty dark. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna clean the brush because I don't want to go too dark. So we're gonna take some of this over here. Add a tad more water. So there isn't white in this palette. So normally when you're coloring with pencil, if you were to lighten something, you're thinking, oh, I can just add white to it, but there's not. So the way that you can lighten here is by using more water. Okay. So you know that's pretty light, which is good because we want subtle. We're gonna build up a few colors here. Rochelle says, hello, I just stopped by to give a thumbs up and support. I really have to go. Have a good night. Sounds good, Rochelle. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Let's make sure this is in focus, too. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay. Let's get a little bit here. Okay, I seriously can't stop thinking about that cookie. That was way tastier than I remembered. Peanut butter patties are delicious. And I'm going to sing ridiculous songs while I'm live and everybody can hear me. I have to say, I think I definitely enjoy the peanut butter patties more than I do the peanut butter sandwiches. All right. Cookies again! Sorry, Laura, I spent multiple hours this afternoon selling Girl Scout cookies with my kiddo today. So they're kind of, I got Girl Scout cookies on the brain. We're doing Girl Scout stuff all weekend. So yeah, it's cookies, cookies, cookies all over the place here. I have this spreadsheet where I'm organizing her sales because I'm, need to keep track of what she sold and the money that we have from it because I really don't want to lose anything. I'm a little paranoid by that. So yeah, I'm just like, been managing a cookie spreadsheet. Now I want peanut butter. See, peanut butter's good. Peanut butter's real good. It's good for you. It's protein. See, that one was a little bit too dry. And I know I'm going over on his sash a little bit, but we're going to be adding probably a darker color on it, so it's not going to matter too much. It's cool. I'll just go la 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 when you talk about it. Okay, broccoli. That peanut butter broccoli I had was so good. Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. Peanut butter broccoli? Oh, that sounds raunchy. No, thank you. All right. Let's go ahead and use next perhaps some blue violet, okay? And that is going to be this one here on the end. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, blue violet. I want to make sure I'm doing the right one this time. Okay. I actually really like broccoli, but peanut butter broccoli? No, thank you. Let's actually mix it over here. I don't mind that there's a little bit of the other one in there. That's the thing about painting too, is with paint, it's hard to recreate the same color twice. That's why when you get paint filled at like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, they have a code. Peanut butter and celery. See, I like peanut butter, but and I like celery in like in soups, but I can't get on board with eating celery raw. I think it's because like you bite into it and there's like strings hanging off it. I think it's the texture that bothers me. It's a very stringy vegetable. Clean in the brush. Clean it again. Essentially, whenever you see my hand go to the right every couple of minutes, it's because I'm cleaning the brush. All right, I want to get a little bit more of this now. Let's come down here. Definitely going to need to add some green in on his vest. Buy celery hearts, pretty much no strings, plus you can de-string them. You can de-string celery? Do they have a tool for that? Or I'm imagining like you physically grabbing the strings and pulling every single string out of the celery. How do you de-string celery? See, that was a little too dry when I put it down. I didn't have enough water, which is why you can kind of see those lines. So we're going to try and... we go. That's a little bit better. Hi, Shelly. Hello, hello. Yes, cut the end kind of jagged and grab the strings. Pull right off. More than one at a time. There really aren't that many per stick anyway. Interesting. I did not know that you could de-string celery. Yeah, I may have to go try it just for curiosity's sake. My kids like the, well, not kids. One of my kids likes the traditional ants on a log. I think using a little bit less water, like I am too, also helps the paper. I mean, the paper is buckling, like there's no question about it, but I think it'd be a lot worse if I was really just soaking it, you know? Get a little bit more water out of this. There we go. All right, a little bit more of this. Let's actually, there we go, there's some water. If you didn't want to use up all the water in your brush either, you could always like have a little eyedropper to drop in the palettes. Ants on a log? Yeah, so you add raisins to it, Donna. You take your celery and you put the peanut butter and then you add raisins on top of it so it looks like ants on a log. Thanks, Shelly. Yeah, we're working on some watercolor here. Hot melted peanut butter on toast. Ooh, I love that, Donna, except I also like adding a little bit of honey in with it. Like peanut butter and honey. Honestly, like my go-to snack when I feel like my blood sugar is dropping, like maybe I forgot to eat as well as I should have that day and it gets to the end of the day and I'm like, oh my goodness, I just need to eat something or I'm going to pass out. I'll do that. I'll have like peanut butter and honey on toast. Hi, Alyssa. And then I'll have just like some cheese with it and that perks me right up. You know, you got the protein from the peanut butter, you got the little bit of sugar from the honey, not to mention the protein from the cheese. So yeah, that's my go-to low blood sugar snack. Oh, I'm so sorry, Laura. I like food. I'm sorry. Hi, Kelly. Welcome, welcome. We're painting and talking food. So yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of buckling on this paper, but that's all right. We make it work. Comes out pretty anyway. All right, now we're gonna use some fern green. Cheese whiz on toast. Right over here. Let's get this a little bit wet here. It's this one on the end. Okay. Get some fern green going on here. Let's actually mix it here. I don't mind if it gets a little bit of brown in it. Clean the brush a bit. All right, time for a bit of green. See, she had so many more creases in her dress, so it was a lot easier on knowing where to add the shadows, you know? I think this is almost too bright of a green. I think we actually do need to go ahead. This brown that I have left over, I'm going to reactivate it. And pretty sure this is mahogany. And I'm going to bring in a little bit of this brown, actually. Yeah, that's better. That's better. I wanted it a bit more muted. And that's the nice thing about painting. I mean, you're making your own colors all the time. There we go. See, his is definitely coming out a bit more light blue, or hers is a bit more turquoise. Maybe we can add in a little bit more like Prussian green to it a little bit. I don't think they had Cheese Whiz in the USA. It must be Oh, must be new. My ex-sister-in-law in Texas always brought it when she came for a visit. Yeah, no, they had Cheese Whiz. I remember eating it when I was in high school. Now I have to take a piece of bread and spread honey on it. Let sit for 5 minutes. The honey gives the bread a... Yes! Yes, I love that kind of crispy crunchiness you got on top, Donna. Yes, I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I know exactly what you're talking about, Donna. Truth be told, like a peanut butter and honey sandwich is my kids' like go-to sandwich. They prefer that over peanut butter and jelly. So just like the pencils, I just kind of slowly layer up. I don't recall how long it took me to do her dress, but we're going to go as far as we can with him today. Then spread peanut butter on the other half and make your sandwich. Ah, there you go. There you go. She must have been shopping in the wrong stores then. I don't know if it's as common these days, but yeah, it's definitely around some places. See, that was a little too saturated. Not so much, Alyssa. You get a little bit of it. Here, let me show you here. Because I just noticed a smidge. Let's see if we can zoom in real close and you can see. So this is the green and the brown that I'm working with. Now this mahogany has been sitting on the palette for a couple of days. So that could have something to do with it. I didn't have this issue with it by itself. So I don't know if you can see. Let's see, can I get it any closer? A little bit closer. Okay, let's get this in focus here. Okay. All right, so do you see right here and right here where it's almost got, gritty is not the right word. Gritty is not, because it's not gritty, but it's almost like it's separated. Now this one up here is dried. I probably wouldn't reuse this one, but you see how it's done that? But when I when I use it straight out of the cake onto here, I don't have that issue. This is only showing up after these paints have been dried on here for a couple of days. So you can see a little bit of it here. Then when we mix it up, it disappears fairly well. So it's not too much of an issue. It's not something that I look at it and think, oh, that's not cool kind of thing. It's just barely, see, there we go. It's just barely there. I remember the lunch lady would come around the rooms in elementary school. She'd take orders, tuna fish or peanut butter and honey sandwiches, 25 cents. Nice. Yeah, my kid's school just went absolutely no peanut butter. So we can't even do peanut butter and honey sandwiches for her anymore. But there were kids with allergies and whatnot. And like, there's like one kid with like a super severe allergy. So I get it. I mean, I don't need anybody, you know, going into anaphylactic shock because somebody threw their peanut butter sandwich across the lunchroom. It's the finish on the metal that makes the paint look splotchy. Well, not just the separation. I'm talking about after it dries. It almost looks powdery. Gee, can anything cost 25 cents anymore? My kids get a quarter when they do something good. Does that count? That's normal from watercolor fillers on metal pan. My cheaper watercolors do the same thing. Yeah. I will say, of all watercolors I have used, I have not seen like the Winsor & Newton watercolors do that. The Master's Touch watercolors at Hobby Lobby did do that, and it did create an issue. So I think these, kind of like, you know, like the pencils, I think these are halfway in between, you know, some of the, gosh, I need to get that more wet. Some of the more less expensive watercolors and the spendy ones. So again, it makes it another kind of budget-friendly Arteza. You know what I mean? There we go. There, his little vest is coming along. We never heard of peanut allergies, lactose intolerance, gluten intolerant back a million years ago when I was a kid. Yeah, my Daniel Smith and whole beans don't do it. Yeah, whole beans, not whole beans. Yep, I see the light, chalky, chunky stuff. Thank you. They don't look bad at all. I want to try them when I can. Oh, definitely. And I think they have smaller sets too, Alyssa, if you want to. This is the link for these particular watercolors, but that at least gives you an idea of what to search for. I want to say they have some smaller sets, but I'm not totally positive. I remember eggs for 25 cents as well as gasoline. Dang. Some of the Cotman colors are chalky, right? Okay. Let's see. We definitely had a little bit of red mixed in here, and actually, we're gonna turn this around real quick because I want to use some of these colors that I made last time. So let's get some water on the edge here, and we are going to use this, which was a blend of, I think, violet and maybe amaranth. I'm trying to remember. But like I said, that's the thing with watercolors, is that you kind of just make your own colors sometimes. We're going to add a little bit more water. But I do like that, you know, even though they're still in the palette, you can reactivate them, you know? All right, so we're going to add a little bit of here, but I also want to blend that fairly quick since it is so stark different. Trying not to get on his white shirt, but we'll make it work. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that green that we had. Also, Winsor & Newton Professional have a few chalky ones, but Holbein and Daniel Smith, amazing. I'll have to try those ones. I prefer some Winsor & Newton Pro Tube colors though, like Paroline Green is amazing. Oh, that's awesome. See, I am actually not super familiar with tube watercolors. If I'm perfectly honest, I have only ever used the cake pans. How similar are they to use as like acrylics? My favorite palette is a mix of brands. Yeah, I get that. I should have used more water on that section. Oh, we're making it work. I'm gonna add a tad more green up here. Let's grab this green that's sitting here. That'll work. And we'll grab that green and we'll just kind of mix it all in together. Mixy match. There we go. So, like I said, it's not the exact same shade as hers, but it's not too bad. I use my tubes like pans. Okay. Let's see. I want to get into watercolors, but I don't know if I should try Arteza or Winsor & Newton Cotman. I think that is. I would say, because honestly, the small palettes, because you can get some pretty small palettes that aren't too much, and I would just try them. Because that's the best way to figure it out. I think everybody has their own preference as far as watercolors. See, the tube watercolors are just like cakes when dry, rewettable. Oh, okay, all right. My favorite student brand is White Nights Watercolors. Oh, okay. Oh, you squeeze them into half pans. Okay, here, let me grab real quick. Let's see, do I have it out over here? I want to grab my Winsor & Newton watercolors real quick. 1 second. Let's see. Here they are. I wanted to do the Arteza ones because I hadn't used them much, but I do have the Winsor & Newton ones. Let's zoom out for a second. Do this, I don't want to mess it up. So these are the Winsor & Newton ones. Here. You can see it's a total mess. Because this is what happens when you don't think anybody will ever see your paints. But this was my sort of swatch that I made here. Oh, that song's a little bit loud. So that's my little swatch that I keep in here. And you can see it's a total disaster. But these are my, see, I think these are full pans because these Arteza ones are half pans, but these are full. But as you can see, these are well loved. But we're gonna close that hot mess. Pretend we never saw that, chat. I forgot how bad my Winsor Newton ones looked. But those are the Winsor Newton ones. Okay, let's bring this back in. Alrighty. So I think I'm gonna let his vest sit a little bit because it's pretty wet. And we are, hi Samantha, you don't want to see my palettes, one I haven't cleaned in 20 years. Oh my gosh, no, yes we do, because it'll make me feel better about my palettes that I haven't cleaned either. Here, I'll turn that way, there we go. Actually, I wonder if I can, there you go, that's better. I don't know if it's Cotman, it just says, yeah, it just says Winsor & Newton on it. I don't know if it's Cotman or not. Didn't say anywhere else, but yeah, it's just a full set. I think this was a Christmas present a few years back. Thanks, Laura. I can't turn my volume on. I'm sneaking at work. Oh, Laura. That's hilarious. Or not Laura, Samantha. Hi, Samantha. Okay. So I'm gonna let his vest dry a little bit. I'm not gonna tackle his shirt because this is all wet. What we're gonna do is we're gonna work on his pants a little bit. Yeah, no problem. Okay. So I want to do his pants kind of a navy. So I have indigo, which I think is what we'll start with. We'll get a nice solid kind of indigo laid down. Yours are Cartman in the same cover? Yeah, so it probably is. It probably is. All right, so indigo is, oh, let's turn this back around because that's the order that the color chart is in. Okay. All right, so there we go. All right, so indigo is the third one over. So 1, 2, 3. So this one here. All right, I'm gonna get him wet. Right there. Oh, that's actually a pretty nice color. I like that. Okay, but I want to start out kind of light. All right, and let's just, we're gonna fill this in with one kind of solid indigo here. Oh, thanks, Laura. Okay. I want to make sure my brush is plenty wet. So I'm kind of squeezing as I go along. Oh my gosh, look at that. It bubbled out. How funny. Oh well, it happens. All right, let's get this moved along here. This is going to end up much darker than it is now, but I just want to get my one solid, come on, don't have time to spare, solid color on here. Avoid the straps. And like I said, I'm sure that there are better ways to do this, or not, maybe not even better, just different ways to do this. But this is just kind of how I've always done it. I've never taken like a watercolor class. I kind of just like, oh, hey, look, paint. And I got it wet and I put it on paper. And this is how it works for me. There we go. All right. Let's see. Oh, sending you a pic of my email of my oldest watercolors. Oh, yay, Laura, I'm excited to see it. I've been floated to a different department tonight. Not the most fun thing in the world. Oh, I'm sorry, Samantha. So Shelly, my twin, think you could nail the watercolors. Aw, thanks, Shelly. Okay, now that I've got that down, I want to get a little bit darker color now. Oh, my phone is not on silent. I apologize. Oh, you know what, Laura? I think that might have been you. Yep, there it is. Okay. All right. We are going to grab Noir. This is one of those instances where I am actually going to essentially shade with black because I just want a much darker blue than what I have. Okay. Let's grab a bit more of the indigo. Okay. That was maybe a bit too much black. More indigo. There we go. But now, okay. I'm going to clean this. Okay. Get a little bit in here. Let's see, make sure we're keeping him in frame. Not dark enough. We're going to grab some of this darker stuff I made. There we go. We're going to spread them. Clean the brush. Okay. Say one thing about paint, like it's not as precise as I'd like it to be, as you know, as pencils are. We're gonna suck some of this up here. Because you know, with pencils, I know exactly where I'm putting down the pencil, but especially when you start using something like water, it's really easy for the paint to have a bit of a mind of its own. Just a bit. I feel like none of my coloring is up to snuff these days. I'm starting to feel a little discouraged. I don't know why the wheels have fallen off the cart. You know, Shelly, everybody goes through that. I've gone through that. Like, there was a point where I had just, like, I hadn't been posting everything. But, you know, sometimes that's all you need is just to take a break and refocus. And, I mean, what really got me going was, I look at other artists on Instagram and I think, oh, man, that's so cool. That's something that I want to try. So sometimes it just takes time to step away and refresh. Not really, only did 3 pictures, love the watercolor pens pack. I mean, oh, nice, Abby. You shouldn't think that way, Shelly. If you're having fun, then that's what counts. Exactly, Laura, exactly. Well, and I'm not happy with the result. I'm not having fun. But I did one today, and that was really fun, and I think I did a fairly good job on it. Awesome, Shelly. Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a common saying that says, we are all our own worst critics, and it's so true. Like, there's a drawing I'm working on right now that I'm not feeling super confident about. I plan on revisiting later. I'm not giving up. I want to finish it. But I have to remind myself that every artist's technique is different. And just because mine doesn't look like theirs doesn't mean it's not good enough. You know what I mean? I was looking at there. I'm like, why is that so bright there? And it's like, but I realized it's just the glare from the water. So I think it's really easy for us to be hard on ourselves than it is to praise ourselves. We almost rely on the praise of others just for the validation that what we're doing, you know, once we can hear that somebody else, you know, I always say actually, whenever I have an art show, I always find it most flattering when a stranger comes in off the street. Not one of my friends, not somebody I know that's, you know, there to help me feel good about what I've done. But when a stranger comes in who doesn't know me, who doesn't owe me any kind of, you know, inflation, you know, and says, hey, I like that. And that tells me, okay, maybe I'm doing something. But that's also something I need to get better at, that I need to learn to be okay with me and my work without looking for the validation of others. You know what I mean? Hi, Graziella! I'll say, when I get this way, I need to do a color along. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I've done that before, for sure. My drawing, my coloring has significantly improved over the years. No problem, Shelly. I heard this quote this week. Comparison is the thief of joy. Yes, Kim. And hello, Kim. But, oh my gosh, that is That is on point. Like, that could not be any more accurate. Like, yes. So much yes. And I think because, you know, we're all in this fantastic community, but because we all have access to being able to see what everybody else is doing, whether it's drawing, painting, coloring, you know, or crafting of any kind, I think, especially with the internet in general, I think it's very easy for us to look at what other people have done and then look at what we've done and be like, gosh, is this even good enough? Is this even something I want to show to the world? Am I just going to be embarrassed if I show this? You know what I mean? Hi, Cassie! Yeah, I like that, Kim. I'm gonna have to remember that. I feel like I should print that out, put it up on my wall, and remind myself every time I start being hard on myself about something I've done or something I've made. So I'm essentially just emphasizing, not enhancing, emphasizing kind of the creases in his pants here. I was decluttering our bedroom today, cooked dinner and fell asleep. Oh, I've done that. I was so busy earlier today, I had a short half an hour before it was time to go pick up my kid. And so I set an alarm, a couple alarms actually, and I'm laying there resting, and my son wanted to rest also because I was just on the couch in the living room, and apparently I slept through my first alarm, and then he had my phone right next to my head. He was like, Mommy! I'm like, what? He's like, your alarm! And I was like, ah! That's why I can't be left alone when I have places I need to go. Cassie, we are working on an illustration by an illustrator. She goes by Yalzza. You can type !Yalzza in chat, and that's Yalzza with 2 Z's. Y-A-L-Z-Z-A. And this is one of her illustrations, and we are doing something a bit different with watercolors. You know, it's not the traditional what I've been doing, but honestly, sometimes after you've been using pencils for a while, it's fun to just kind of mix it up a little bit, you know? Okay. I'm going to get a bit more of this now, and I want to make this part here a little bit darker. I love his pants. Well, the whole picture is awesome. Oh, thanks, Abby. Aw, thanks. You're all so sweet. Well, and it's just a different, completely different style picture of what I've been doing. I do people, you know, sometimes, but I don't generally do watercolors. And I don't generally do, to me, I'm sure there's lots of people that know about it, but I only just found out about this illustrator. And so I have, you know, for those that know me, I have my set illustrators that that I enjoy, but I discovered her the other day, and I was just like, holy flip. I want to unbury our room. I couldn't get relaxed. That's where I do most of my art. KonMari is my goal, but I need a clear space to start. That's fair. That's fair. My favorite is that red dress. Not sure what it's called. It's called a hanbok, Cassie. H-A-N-B-O-K. Hanbok. But yeah, this is supposed to be like a wedding scene. Let's see. I think I want to go slightly darker at his waist here. Now that that water has had time to dry, you know, cautiously here. Again, this is only 65-pound paper. This is not watercolor paper. This is, you know, so it'll dry out eventually here, but this is definitely not specifically watercolor paper. So there is definitely some buckling that is going to happen. All right, we are going to, yeah, we're going to give this paper a break where his pants are. Okay. We're going to give his pants a little bit of a break. Let's see. Let's work on, let me clean my brush a little bit. Yes, Kim, it is. Yeah, this is a traditional Korean costume that you would wear to weddings or mostly weddings. I think there's other special events that they wear into. In 1 second, chat, I'm going to top off my my brush here. I find that it works better if you have a nice full brush rather than having to constantly squeeze it. Go. I get more water out quicker, you know? Okay. There we go. Okay. So for his shirt, oh wait, did I say his skin or his shirt? Well, I guess this is dry here. For his shirt, I want it to be white. So this here is kind of a collar. This, I believe, is usually colored. I'm glad I saw you were on. I was just about to film video, but I wanted to hang out for a bit. Sounds good, Cassie. Anytime. All right, so let's zoom on in. Oh, wait, why is this not responding? Why is my video not responding? Hang on, guys. Huh. Why is this not working? Hang tight 1 second. Okay, you guys can still see me there. For some reason, my camera program is frozen. Yeah, it's frozen. Can you still hear me though? Can everyone still hear me okay? Let's see. Can you still hear me? Let's see. Can everyone still hear me? Okay, all right. So everyone can still hear me. No, it didn't unplug. It's like the program froze for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Give me just bear with me for 1 second. My program froze. It's not Stream Elements. Stream Elements is fine. No, I didn't hit a chord. It's just where I was walking there are no chords. Yeah, the program, because I use a remote live view window, and I can't click anything. The program is just frozen on me. Give me a sec. Let me try and think what I can do to fix this. That's so weird. Yeah, because my camera is working fine. It's the program that's having an issue. And I'm not entirely sure why. Said the connection was lost? Why was the connection lost? Oh, you see the cursor? There's the cursor. Hey, look, there it is. Crud. Maybe I did bump something. I didn't think I did. I mean, everything's still plugged in. Maybe it's just being sensitive. Okay, so here's my question for you then, chat. It is 9:42. Nah, hi Dee Dee. Not gremlins. This is just my program froze. It must have detached somehow. So here's my question. We still have about 45 minutes left on the stream. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I'm going to leave it up to all of you. Would you rather, because these are my only options, because the way my program works, I have to start up my camera. And I think that it'll work if I turn it off. So would you rather call it here, or do you want to wait and follow me over to a new video? Because when I end stream and restart, you're going to have to pop over to the new video. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. We technically have 45 minutes left. Would you rather call it here, or do you want to wait for me to restart the stream real quick? It is your vote. I know you can't. There you go. Now you can see my hands. It is up to you. So I'm going to let you guys vote and decide. I guess I must have bumped it or something. It's the only thing I can figure. I mean, all the cords are fine, but maybe it jostled just enough to knock it loose or something. I didn't think I did, but who knows? And the camera's off completely. What is going on? New restart? Okay. All right, so hang on, everybody. 1 second. Go ahead and close out of the video and then watch my channel for a new restart. I'm going to end it now, and then we'll be right back, okay? So be right back, chat.